It's always a great day when a new trailer comes out, and this is no exception. This is quite possibly the final trailer we're getting for Dragon's Rising Season 4 of Ninjago, and it's all about Lloyd. We'll quickly read the description. New Ninjago Season 4 story trailer. Lloyd is about to embark on a treacherous journey and face his greatest trial yet to protect the Whispering Wood and the Merged Lands. Dark forces stand in his way, and everything depends on what he does next. Surprisingly, they don't actually mention the date for when the new season comes out, but in the US it is April 2nd, so set your calendars now, and let's just get straight into breaking down this trailer because it is very, very exciting. So starting off, we see the scene of the monastery. Now, a lot of the beginning shots we've already seen before, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. This is probably just to show the passage of time. Now we see Lloyd, Aaron, and Euphrasia in the Whispering Wood. They feel confronted with something, possibly it's elemental monsters, maybe it's those life forest tide creatures, possibly. And now we actually see the Archdragon once again telling Lloyd how the protector of the Whispering Wood has just not performed the duties at all, and how him as the Green Ninja now needs to step up. Another quick shot of the Archdragon right there, really cool animation. Now this is new, we see trees kind of just sprouting out of the Whispering Wood. I don't think this is any sort of perspective. This is actually them actually being lifted up out of the earth. And again, the whole concept of this wood is that it's just like really filled with life. This entire wood is just really, really alive. Like, of course, the trees are alive, but it actually uses this life, elemental power, even source energy, possibly, because it does have an impact on the rest of the merged lands, as we know. So this is possibly after Lloyd has maybe completed his Green Ninja training, and now the life is restored to the entire Whispering Wood because we know it's really been drained. Or maybe this is just earlier on. Could be a flashback, but possibly not. But again, it is our first new scene, and here you see a lot more of these trees. And here you can actually see the ritual of unrooting initially happen. Here's Lloyd with his elemental powers trying to get out of it. Of course, he feels a bit strained. And really take in this entire landscape, because we're going to talk a bit more about that in a second. So here is Zane talking to the ninja team, saying, Lloyd, you are not going to survive this, but it's great being back, you know? And I actually see Lloyd here. He's in this weird area with this mysterious tree with its roots. And notice the roots are actually moving and actually growing above this water. I just think this is happening somewhere within the Green Ninja Temple that I'll actually show you off later in this trailer. And again, Zane telling him, be careful, you're not going to survive this. And now we actually see this temple right here in the woods. We've seen this little area before with the vines and the flowers, but now we're actually getting a full look at this temple, and it looks majestic. And they don't actually refer to it as the Green Ninja Temple here, but that's what it's referred to in specific descriptions. And now we can see this shot we've seen before where Lloyd is entering the temple and he's being basically sucked in by this weird white light at the end of it. And so I'm assuming this white light is right before he gets sucked into this weird mysterious place he is right now. That's just the order I'm assuming happens. But we don't know. There's no way of knowing. There's going to be so much that happens within like his Green Ninja trial that really anything could happen. And here is another clip of Lloyd and Zane if you care about it. Lloyd just being a bit cautious. They're saying good luck to each other. Now this is just another shot of Lloyd in this odd area. Maybe this is when he wakes up. But here is probably the most insane shot of the entire trailer. We see this mysterious figure in a black coat. Who is this? Who could it possibly be? And it is none other than the youngest version of Lloyd we've ever known, back when Lloyd is actually a villain. And the best part about this, while we cannot confirm it, it really does sound like the original voice actor, Jillian Michaels, back in Dragon's Rising Season 1 during the episode The Calm Inside. It was very clear that it was Sam Vincent voicing the character, the same voice actor who currently does it. So it's really great seeing her come back right now to do this role. And there's a bit of banter happening because clearly he is a villain. Young Lloyd was always like a villainous child, right? And so there was a bit of that like treachery right there. And this is actually taking place in the same area before where Lloyd was being brought down. But notice like his placement right now, he's a bit more sunk into the earth. So that's clearly after that last scene happens in this location. And now we see Lloyd talking to a Green Ninja version of himself, Based on the torsos, it looks like this version is a little bit smaller. So this is probably later when we saw that younger version of Lloyd, maybe after episode 10 in the original season of the show, after he's found out to be the Green Ninja. We do know based on the voice lines for this season that young Lloyd will appear in episode 5. So that last scene is guaranteed to be in episode 5. This could be it. It could be teen Lloyd. We see just a little bit later that this scene we have seen before in a trailer shot in the past, it actually is with, this is teen Lloyd, just based on the height, based on the legs, and Lloyd basically references that this version of Lloyd is the age that he skipped out because of the Tomorrow's Tea, and that essentially kind of proves that this is like teen Lloyd. And we do know, again, based on voice lines, this is episode 7. Kind of crazy that Lloyd is still in the exact same outfit all the way down to episode 7. But, it's happened. It happens very much of these seasons. At least it's not just them getting a new ninja suit every single time, right? And so we see them kind of hopping around what looks to be a tree with some fungus kind of growing on it. So here's the shot of teen Lloyd. New ninja design. We've never seen this before, though it is a bit odd to see this hairstyle. But again, this is the version of Lloyd that we completely skipped out on, have never seen before, so it makes sense why it's new. And they're just kind of bantering to each other, asking this regular version of Lloyd if he's going to catch up ever. We actually see him fall right here. A little bit funny, but it shows that Lloyd is just not been in tune with himself as much. This is really throwing him for a loop. He's going to go through a bit of a psychological journey here, even as he tries to embark on a journey where he really needs to understand his past. And that's really what's catching up with him. That's what's really hurting him more than just falling, though he is. And now we just see Lloyd and Aaron talking for a second, where they need to fix all this elemental energy that's just gone astray here, fighting some elemental monsters, though this happens really early on in the season. And they do get powered up, and they do look really cool. Now we see Lloyd in this odd pose. Don't know what he's doing here, but he's probably in the temple by now. Now we see him with Teen Lloyd again. Again, you can see these legs are full size and how they are the same size. Actually, this does look like the shot from earlier where he's talking to himself just based on like the hunch over. Though this is upright, this does look pretty similar still to right here. So that probably is the shot of Teen Lloyd from earlier. So again, those shots are from episode 7. Again, that's the only episode where Teen Lloyd actually has voice lines. Now, at first, this is a rather uninteresting shot, but what's really noticeable here is this white dragon, like, armor piece. And again, there's one right here for Lloyd, but this is one we've actually have never seen before. So this is possibly for some new character. Maybe someone gets a random outfit change, or maybe this is like an inverse version of Lloyd, like where all the colors are swapped. But it's really curious because this is definitely not Zane. Zane has a golden armor piece, just like Lloyd, with the white eye on it. And although we have yet to see that spectral suit, and possibly it could be right here, very doubtful, this is someone new here, and I think this is going to be driving a lot of theories and questions in the future. Now moving on, we see Teen Lloyd again. We see a bit more of this tree as they're jumping through it, getting higher and higher. And it is noticeable that this is like the giant tree in the Whispering Wood. Like this is some sort of centerpiece. And I doubt like these bits in the background are giant trees like it. It very well could be, but this is the center point of what seems to be the Whispering Wood. And here's a very interesting shot of the Arc Dragon, where it's now just all very woody and rocky, and it has just fallen down. We see Aaron, Zane, and Euphrasia here. Noticeably, Aaron is on the ground for some reason. Not sure why, but this is without Lloyd, so this is likely while Lloyd is in the Green Ninja Temple. And the most obvious reason this has happened is because the life energy in the Whispering Wood has just run out. Or maybe something has happened to Lloyd, or maybe there was some sort of battle here. And based on the fact that Aaron is knocked out on the ground, there's probably been some sort of battle here that's left him unconscious and that really killed off the Arc Dragon. Now, it doesn't seem like the Arc Dragon is dead completely, just really placed out of her element completely. And that's probably because like some elemental monsters were coming through there. Maybe it's because the loyalists were going through there and took her power, her energy. Maybe it has something to do with the Weapon of Desolation, which is my guess. But Really don't know what's going on here, but it does not look good for the ninja whatsoever. Then we see a shot of Lloyd here, kind of looking a bit mad at regular Lloyd all over here. He's going to go through it this season, but that's all right. Oh, we see him actually fighting each other. That's rather interesting. Didn't think that would happen, but then again, he has been a bit mad. It's like a part of Lloyd that he never unlocked because he never got to go through this phase. Really makes you wonder, like, if anyone else has ever had to deal with this, like with Tomorrow T or anything. It also makes you think because Lloyd is technically has both Oni and Dragon Blood, and just like Wu and Garmadon who have lived for so long because of it, this version of Lloyd probably is a lot older than you think. It's probably supposed to last for a lot longer. And this version of Lloyd was supposed to exist well before the original prophecy, where he needed to beat Garmadon and the Overlord. And now jumping, we see Lloyd's falling. They're fighting. This looks like it's right before they climb up the tree, because there's probably like something up there they have to do. So I doubt it's because they just came down after. And now Lloyd's on the ground. Well, he's already going to be taking a bruising, so it's all right. And we're just going to move on. Here we see something interesting. One of these little life force tides is like starting to disintegrate, starting to like lose its power. We don't see the Arc Dragon back here, probably because she's on the ground. So this is probably after that whole battle has happened, or all the trees are just like drained, the whole wood is drained of its life, and now it just starts to disintegrate. And you can just see it kind of like fades away. Maybe it's just dying. Maybe this is meant to be happy because they don't all seem scared, like they're running away or something. Or maybe this is just because the life is drawn out, and that's what I think my guess is going to be for it. And you do see them a little bit sad, or maybe it's just like they're a bit shook from it. I don't know particularly, but actually you see Euphrasia smiling there, so it looks like it could be something that's good happening, right? This might just be the natural cycle of them. Maybe that specific forest life tide is their friend. Maybe that's the first one they met, so maybe it's gonna be happy. Who knows, honestly. We see them on this tree again. Really, a lot of these shots of this one specific tree, but this is like the real first time that we get to see the underside of the tree and all of its branches as Lloyd once again falls. Really common theme there of Lloyd falling, and that's a great shot of him falling actually, as he descends into the mist. They're really high up, it seems. Oh, but don't worry, he gets caught by Teen Lloyd. They've become friends after they fought each other, so at least there's no bad blood there, right? And again, this is all likely happening episode 7, so who knows what they're doing here super late on, but it's glad to know that they're doing okay. Now here's a shot of Lloyd in the monastery. This looks like it's the regular monastery, and for all we know, this could be the real monastery. He could be in a dream version. Maybe he's back in the monastery at a time when they were all together as the ninja. Maybe Wu is there, maybe some of their old friends. Maybe he'll see his dad, but he doesn't actually have a voice on, so never mind. He's not going to see his dad. But you never know. This could just be some sort of vision he's experiencing. So, oh, and he looks like a little bit scared there too. So it's probably some sort of vision he's seeing. The ninja aren't there. It's nighttime. Maybe this is the monastery we see at the very beginning of the trailer. And now we see Lloyd falling, likely into this pool I was showing off earlier in the trailer. And now he gets tripped. Oh, young Lloyd is now here. This is the best look we've seen yet of his outfit. Really like the green 5 showing up. Notice how they're not in the same place as before, and Lloyd gets tripped up over this branches. Again, really falling a lot here. We do see him like start to shrink as he enters this place. We'll actually see him get bigger a lot later on. And then here's him falling once more. You can see this is where he hits like this like cracked ice mirror. Who really knows what's happening? But it's when he falls into the water. So that's probably when he's falling again, right underneath where that tree was. This is Lloyd's sword being thrown up through the air. Can't really tell what's happening here. Oh, he catches it. That's what's happening here. So maybe he's fighting someone right in this monastery. That's exactly what it looks like, but we just don't know who. So this is probably that enemy Lloyd that we know is coming in episode 8. That's my best guess, but I'm assuming this is in episode 8. Again, really in this outfit for a very long time. Now we see him on this map. This is just probably the map of the Whispering Wood. Here you can see this big tree that they're supposed to be climbing. So that's how you know it. This is likely in episode 5 or 7 likely. Keep going through. Shot we've already seen of Lloyd before attacking. This is where he falls into this pool of this tree. So maybe this tree is going to be a very central role in the season. But honestly, there's so many trees this season. Who even knows which one is the most important, honestly. We see him kind of gain all these powers, but notice his eyes are purple. This could be because of his Oni side, possibly. This could have something to do with Source Dragon energy. Maybe he's a vessel again. Honestly, it's anyone's best guess at this point. But now he's falling again after he reaches a super tall tree. And he hits the ground pretty hard, honestly. Not really doing too well this season. He might need to look at a doctor after. He's fighting these elemental monsters again. Here come these forest-tide creatures. Now we see this shot once again of all these trees absorbing life. Mutation monster here. So this is very early on in the season, or very late possibly. Notice we actually have a shot of Zane's helicopter here. This is most likely when Zane first arrives there. He probably arrives in this helicopter, the one we've seen from the sets. So that's likely why it's there, because Zane's joining the battle. Again, that's very early on in the season though. So not sure why they leave this to the very end. But all the trees essentially give their life to Lloyd in this one circle, one orb of power, I suppose. And they give it to Lloyd. And Lloyd is able to fight back. And that's essentially where the trailer ends. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know your theories from this breakdown I've given you today. And I'll be sure to do follow-up videos if there's enough interest. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you when the next season appears for Ninjago.